Do you like anime, manga, and all that stuff? Yeah, so do we. So let's talk about it.
So, solo leveling.
Solo leveling is is good.
It's good. So what's your history with solo leveling?
Funny story about that actually. So was it? I think it was 2018, 2019 when it came out. I could be wrong here. I think it was one of those years there. I remember I stumbled upon it, and at first, at least from what I could tell, it wasn't super popular because I don't remember seeing a lot of comments on it. And it was like in the very beginning, right? Like literally like a couple chapters out, and like everyone's kind of like, oh, whatever, another power fantasy manga or whatever, or manhwa or something like that, right? But I think as soon as it started picking up steam, a lot more people were picking up. So I remember telling my brother about it, and I said like, "Oh, dude, you gotta read this. It's pretty cool." And I think after like a couple more chapters in, everyone started going like, "Yo, this is crazy." But I think it was funny because I was the one who found it in my friend group. Yeah, but essentially, I started reading it from like the very first, like literally chapter one when it came out, because I was browsing random stuff and I was like, "Oh, this looks interesting," and then I clicked into it. I'm like, "Yo, this is crazy." What about you?
So were you already reading Korean webcomics at that time?
I think I was. I just don't. Yeah, I think I was reading a few at the time.
Okay.
I don't remember which one they were, so don't ask me.
So I think for me, this one kind of popped up because I think in the circles or like the websites that I go to, uh, this was brought up at a few places where it's like, yo, this thing looks ridiculous. And I saw some pictures and I'm like, yeah, that looks badass. So I got into it pretty late by the time it got really popular. I think by the time I got in, it's like within chapters of completion.
Right.
So it was actually fairly late. But yeah, I think I got in around that time, and yeah, I blew through it really quickly.
Oh yeah, I mean, I remember reading it like every week, right? When it was coming out. It's one of
Yeah.
those things where it's like, oh, yeah, looking forward to kind of reading kind of what's happening next and whatnot. Um,
hmm
but yeah, so some background of solo leveling. I mean, obviously we saw it's done by Redice, right?
hmm
Which I don't know if a lot of people know, but they were doing, what was it, Space Dandy? We talked about, I think, a little bit.
Yep. I think from what I saw, that's like one of their first works is the comic adaptation or manga adaptation of Space Dandy.
Yeah, and they also did a
That's yeah.
really, no, sorry, go ahead.
No. That's really how the first thing I saw from them
hmm
on wikis. So yeah.
To be honest with you, I never really looked into like who the artists were, like illustration or like the whatever companies kind of pushing that out. It's very much
Same.
like, I click in and I'm like, yeah, this is it, and I just instantly scroll past the the wonderful title drawing that they did, and and then continue on with the meat of the manga or the manhwa, right?
Yep. Because I definitely know like Red Ice or Red Ice does a lot of other things, but there's very few that looks like solo leveling. That's why I'm like I don't really know how many artists or how many lead artists they have. Because I don't know if you can name a few other ones that's popular. I know Max Level Newbie is one of those.
Yeah, Max Living Newbie as part of Red Ice or Red Ice. Pick Me Up, I think, is part of Red Ice. Death God of the Drifting Moon, which I think is now called the Reaper. I think they shortened it to
Oh,
that.
oh, is
Uh,
that also Red Ice?
mhm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is. Nano
Okay.
Machine is actually Red Ice.
Definitely looks very different.
Yeah, the thing is though, like I don't know if you can tell this, but anytime I see something that is now from them, you kind of get this like, I don't know if it's just like it looks clean or how it is. I think like when I look at it, I'm like, oh, this must be like this must be
A
a
Red
Redice
Ice joint.
studio thing, yeah.
I don't know because I feel like of the ones that I actively read, Max level newbie by far looks the cleanest. Like there's the least detail compared to the other ones. Like Nano Machine, I feel like there's a little bit more grit to it, and Drifting Moon looks different also. So it's I don't know if clean is a defining factor for that studio, but I guess I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it just kind of looks like it looks nice, I guess.
It doesn't look like very hand drawn, sketchy. It's a lot more clean line work and solid coloring, I guess.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of other stuff they do, like Infinite Mage is by some Redice. Miss Might Mayhem is from Redice. Let's see if anything else you might know. Archmage returns after 4,000 years. That's as well. I want to say like solo leveling really kind of peaked for them. You know what I mean? Like they were kind of like that was the thing that kind of brought. I mean, okay, like this is all just my opinion, at least. I think solo leveling really took them kind of into the limelight of more manhwas, right?
I almost think solo leveling was big enough that it got a lot more people just reading webcomics in general, or manhwa in general.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it got more international appeal, or people heard about it from outside of Korea, and that's how people get in. That's how I got in, at least.
Right. Yeah. And I believe it 100%. Like it's solo leveling was like the thing to read at one point, right?
It's just that I think at this point, the plot feels a little thin, like very straightforward, right? Compared to a lot of other things that's happened in manhwa. I liked the read because preparing for this, I just blew through the whole series. Not the follow up Ragnarok or any of the stuff after the main story.
Yeah.
But I think it's a very easy read, and you can get behind the motivations very easily. But there's not much complexity, I feel like.
Well, it's one of the things that I always said, like, at least how I felt with solo leveling. It's very much like, it's very like a linear kind of story, right? Like, Jinwoo does this, gets stronger, defeats bad guy, kind of like repeat. Jinwoo gets stronger, gets new shadows, defeats more bad guys, and it kind of, your generic power fantasy almost, right? Where your MC just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. However, I don't know. I mean, not that I remember too much. I think Jinwoo would be like one of the ones that just got like giga strong, right? Like,
yep.
Yeah, because I feel like at least in a lot of other manhwas or manga, like there's a certain point where, yeah, okay, you can quote plot armor, all that stuff, but there's a struggle, right? Like at least like a tiny bit of struggle.
Yep.
No, and then for Jinwoo, it's kind of like, oh, struggle. What do you mean? Let me just summon 50 more thousand shadows here, and then I'm just gonna overpower this guy.
Yep. I mean, are we gonna spoiler this? Because I can get into spoilers right now if we're okay with it.
Obviously, as we're talking about, mangas or manhwas or anime, whatever. Like, well, obviously, this is a big spoiler thing. So if anyone's listening, if you don't want to be spoiled, turn it off.
Okay, because I'm just gonna get into it. I think we agreed that early on the story was very enjoyable, very easy to get into, and like the power leveling stuff, fine, it's okay. He struggles a bit early on. There's a point in the story where it just feels like no one else, no human in the story matters anymore. Like there's nothing anyone can do against the enemies that's approaching, and it's frustrating as hell because they have a huge cast of characters,
right,
that they basically get thrown right out the window. They're like, yeah, these guys are here just to look at them and go, dude, there's no way we can do anything about this. I'm like, what the fuck? You have cool characters standing around doing nothing. Like there's I relatively recently, or like today, I just finished reading it, but like
10 minutes
there's
ago.
A point in the story where it just said there's a point in the story where they just lore dump you on the new enemies,
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't care. Like you're throwing so many terms at me as it's dumb. I can't follow. Like I can sort of follow by the end, but it's like there's no reason to throw so much stuff at us about enemies that only Jinwoo can deal with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's just everyone else is just there for him to protect. I'm like, what the hell, man? You had guys
Monarchs?
who were like, yeah, you had guys who were like S class or like national tier hunters who just don't matter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like the American gold hair national hunter
Thomas Andre?
doesn't win a
Or-
fight.
Yeah,
No.
No, not doesn't.
Was it Thomas? I don't
The
remember.
one with the
Andre?
the
Andre?
yeah, Thomas Andre. Yeah,
The one, the Hawaii. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think he wins a single fight that matters. He shows up. It's like, dude, I'm badass. I'm gonna show up. Jinwoo beats his ass, and then shows up again afterwards. And then was it a monarch or? Yeah, I think it's one of
it's
the
a
monarch, the beast
yeah.
monarch,
Mhm.
whoops his ass again. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Guys are just pumped up to be like, man, this is the best of mankind. You know, this and that. Other ones just get killed off screen. I'm like, fuck. No one matters anymore.
No, and this is something that was kind of my gripe with the whole story too. Nothing's really ever fleshed out, right? Like you flesh out Jinwoo, I get it. He's the main character. The spotlight's on him, right? Like why are we going to talk about the other losers that are kind of with him? But in that sense, I feel like they shouldn't have named them like S rank hunters or like national ranked hunters or whatever, right? I would have loved to see more of those characters do something. Like I mean, like there's so many of them. Even the Korean hunters, right? Like they all had like special skills and whatnot, and what they only like fought like briefly in Ant Island arc, right? And they didn't do much.
Only to get their ass kicked.
Yeah, like
it shows up to fight Biru, and then just nope, these guys are all useless.
Yeah, like oh man, I'm trying to remember his name. The red hair guy, the flame guy.
The
called him
strongest
the ultimate soldier
hunter
or something like that.
He shows up just to be like, yeah, Jinwoo's kind of the best. And it's like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, and I would have loved to see more skills from him, right? Because he looked cool. He had a cool ass title, and then he just disappears. He's like, yeah, you know what?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good. Jinwoo, you got it, man.
All
You
the
got
guild leaders. Yeah, all the guild leaders, like him, the tiger guy, the guy who transformed into beast mode or whatever.
Or whatever. I'm butchering all these Korean names. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry if anyone's listening to this.
And like there's other guild leaders, no one matters. The main girl, what's her name?
Chahain?
Yeah, don't matter. Like she shows up, she looks cool for a few fights, but barely matters at all.
So okay, I will give it to the Soul Leveling or the offer, or whatever. They at least gave her a bit more story to her because she was going to be like Jinwoo's, like, this is a big spoiler, but like Jinwoo's wife, right? Right?
Yeah.
And like I feel like they at least gave her like some more screen time than like kind of everyone else, but everyone else just kind of like got pushed aside. Oh, Jinwoo's here to help, bam. Like why bother drawing the other characters? You can.
Well, the thing is, like, even what's her name is like, she doesn't really do much either. She's known as like, oh, she might be even more powerful than the guy with red hair, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then what? She also shows up at the Ant Island at Juju Island and gets her arm broken, just knocked out.
Yeah, she gets giga screwed right at the beginning.
Yeah, and then she doesn't even come back to do anything until near the end, where she's just like, "Oh, I have new armor set and protecting people," but that's about it. That's about what everyone else does. And I guess she gets a little bit more screen time with that one date chapter, but yeah.
Yeah, like her title is the dancer, right? And I think they explained it at one point why she's called that or
you
something.
explain like her sensitivity, her smell sensitivity. It's like, oh, because her senses are higher, that's why she's like this. They also say there's one of the Japanese guys who has that too, but that guy didn't matter. That guy didn't matter at all.
I think he got slaughtered like instantly by the ants.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, "Oh man, I can smell all this bloodlust," and then just instantly dead.
Yeah, yeah. And again, like beyond that point, like without having fleshed out characters, I mean, overall, it was a fine manhwa to read, and I think it really was
Yes.
just carried by like Jinwoo's like extremely overpoweredness, right? Like
Yeah.
the fact that he can literally, I mean, in that world, you have to like, do your generic party member stuff, and Jinwoo like was like, yeah, I'm just gonna summon my 6 summons and just destroy the whole dungeon, right?
Hmm. I do think it's really funny that what makes him better than others is that he can level up. That's kind of the whole gimmick for his character is like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can actually get better than my initial assessment. Like, oh, okay, I guess no one else can really needs to try because they're not going to get any better.
Yeah, like everyone's just like, yeah, I can't level up, so whatever, man. Like, I'm just gonna be here. I'm just a lowly B rank or A rank or whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like overall, like I said, like I really enjoyed it, but again, I wish they fleshed out more of like just on that topic of side characters and whatnot. I really wish they kind of like fleshed that out a bit more, and we saw more of them fighting or something. I think
Yep.
it would have been much more cooler. I mean, like I would have liked to see like the ultimate soldier go at it with like a different hunter or something, right?
Oh
That would have
yeah,
been
yeah.
fun.
I feel like they could do. At this point, it's kind of hard to go back, but like any prequel things with the pre Jinwoo stuff, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like there would be some, some material they can do there. But knowing in that world that Jinwoo is going to come in and make everything irrelevant just makes me go, yeah, I don't care about any of these guys.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, your achievements of, oh yeah, you cleared this A rank dungeon. Ooh, I'm sorry. In about 6 months, Jinwoo's gonna come in and destroy these S rank dungeons solo. Like,
But the thing is that kind of thing people love to read. At least I personally enjoy reading that. Oddly enough,
mhm.
just like the main character just destroying like dungeon records or whatever it may be, right? Or like getting revenge on like the bullies or something like that. I mean, that's a huge trope there.
Yep.
But it was fun to watch Jinwoo kind of murk an entire dungeon or whatever. Like I remember when he went into, was it the second or third gate with the ice elves? If you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
I remember it was sick when they shot that arrow at I forgot her name now, but that one character
Yes.
that doesn't matter, and Jin would just like
Yep.
hand catches it, like no big deal,
Yep.
and I
Yep.
thought that was like super epic.
I understand. Like I also kind of like these power fantasies ones. It's just there's something about this one that just feels, again, the power leveling just goes so fast. It's just too fast for what I think. Like he has to have some sort of challenge within the dungeons for it to be a little bit more interesting. Because for me, the best parts of solo leveling are the early stuff where he actually has to fight tactically. He has to analyze the enemies and stuff.
Hmm.
But then once it got to the point where he's just like, whatever, stand back, guys, do your thing, and then just wipes the whole floor of enemies. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I guess that's cool, but it's not as interesting of a fight. But the power
No.
fantasy itself is fun. Like it is fun to watch guys who are super cocky and blatantly evil get their asses kicked. That's
Hmm.
really the driving factor for a lot of the plot line of, yeah, I'm gonna fuck around with people you love, and then Jinwoo going, nah, fuck off,
Yeah.
and then the fight happens. That's kind of the driving factor for the whole thing. And again, that's fine. It's just I feel like there's other ones at this point that do a lot of this the tropes a little bit better or a little bit better paced.
Hmm. Yeah. No, for
Yeah.
sure. So some really random information about Solo Leveling. I don't know if you noticed, but the webtoon was, I think, the light novel. It was formerly written by Ji So Byung. But did you know,
Okay.
due to his controversies, he was excluded from the serialization of Soul Leveling? And I think,
Okay.
yeah, I tried to look into it, and I mean, I didn't spend too long, but I should have. But I think it was due to the light novel. Apparently, the light novel was much worse in terms of towards the whole Korea and like Japanese kind of tension, right? Because obviously
Okay.
in Antark, the Japanese people were essentially going to be letting the Korean team die, right? They're just gonna escape,
Yep.
and then all that stuff, right? Which helped them in a bad light. And from what I can tell, in the light novel, apparently it was worse. And then they didn't want that to kind of come out in the manhwa, so they decided to kind of like axe them and kind of rewrite parts of it. Now, mind you, this is very like basic research that I've kind of gone through, and which is kind of interesting because again, I have not read the light novel, right?
No, I've not read any of the light novels for any of the manhwas that were based on. So
yeah, and I feel like I don't.
Yep.
It sounds bad, but I don't have the time to read the light novel.
Yeah, exactly. At most, I look at what some people write in comments, or sometimes the translators do at the end of the chapter, like, "Oh, this is what additional detail were in the light novel," and I'll be like, "Oh, okay, neat." But I usually don't read those either.
Yeah, yeah. It was interesting when I was looking into it, but I don't know. I thought it was like, again, I can't say much because obviously we both haven't read the light novel. I'm just gonna go by what I've read, like seen and whatever. But I could see that because considering how the manhwa already kind of portrays Japan as kind of like the underhanded, sneaky, we're gonna get you kind of people. I can see it could have been worse in the light novel, and they just didn't want to like ruin, whatever chance they could have gone
international. Yeah. No, because I feel like what's there in the manhwa was not actually that bad. Like, I get that they're not great people, but honestly, like, whatever. Like, they're not very villainous. Obviously, the guys did die, or like the main guy who led them was arrested at the end. No, the one who was who set up the plan. The association head of Japan.
Yeah.
But it's like they don't show them as like cartoonishly evil.
Yeah. Like it could have been worse, right?
Yeah.
But like, what else could you have done beside? Like, I mean, like, hey, what would you have done with like the nations, right? I mean, you're essentially saying like each nation has their own fighting force, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there could have been some weird stuff they could have done there, but they decided to go with what they did, and I think it's fine, right?
I don't know. It's just I feel like the nation stuff is always weird in manhwa. Like a lot of times Chinese or Japanese are shown as guys who are stronger or faster, but then they're dicks, and then you're gonna have to crush them in this, which is like whatever, right? Like in this one specifically, you show national level hunters from other countries, like the Canadian was cocky and was standing up to the monarch at the end, or whatever, and just gets smoked. And you also got your Russian one who is drunk and thinks he can, block the gate from opening, and then gets eaten. Like, whatever. Like, you can show other nations being shit. Like, I don't know. It's fine. I just think it's really funny that the Chinese one gets nothing to do. They kept saying, like, this guy might be the strongest hunter ever, like, in the world. Gets jack shit to do. I'm like, well, okay, you got a cool design, and you didn't turn out to be a shitty guy, but honestly, did nothing with him.
Didn't want to upset more nations,
Yeah. I'm like, I feel like you're setting him up to be like a rival at least, but no.
Well, like, going back with the nation stuff too, I feel like, I mean, the thing is, it's just like a cartoon essentially, right? Like, who cares, right?
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. Maybe people are more, uptight about it, which is fair. I mean,
nationalistic,
yeah,
more national pride.
Yeah, for sure. Like, even speaking of like the whole Japan thing too, like in the anime, I think you watched a little bit of it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, I haven't watched the anime because I kind of refuse to, but it's gonna taint my image of Solo Leveling. But like, I've heard that they like removed like a bunch of stuff that kind of made Japan in a bad light, right? So like we were talking about before, like the scene where Jinwoo is fighting Goto, and when they both get serious, the scene where Goto's like literally sweating bullets and like freaking out is not in like the anime, right? Which is fair. You don't got to show your national hunter to be like freaking out, but I think it gives like such a more in depth to Jinwoo's power, right?
Yep.
Like Jinwoo's power is like crazy scary. And also, I think now this is something that was brought to me like earlier. I don't know how true it is because I haven't read I haven't watched the anime, but apparently they don't really mention nations in that section.
Yeah, so that's what I was assuming it was going to be, because I just don't see a Japanese production going and saying, our lead character is from Korea. That just doesn't seem like the Japanese thing to do.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So I totally believe it if they're like, yeah, this guy Jinwoo Kim, Kim, Japanese, yeah. Like, I just don't know if they actually mentioned Korea at all. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've watched the first season.
I read that apparently they never mentioned that Japan was the nation, and they made up like a made up nation that was like fighting Biru and stuff, or like on Jeju Island, which I think is hilarious that they had to do that. I mean, to each their own, right?
I'm curious. Did they actually say it's Jeju Island though in the anime? They're gonna rename it something different. That's not Korean.
Honestly, I don't know.
It's a Hokkaido.
I don't know actually. Let me. Yeah, I think no. They call it no. Actually, no. I'm lying. I'm such a liar. No, I think it is called Jeju Island.
Okay.
Yeah, unless I'm wrong. I mean, someone let me know, but I think it's actually
like as much as I think they might not have called it Korea, I just don't think they can get away from actually doing that, like from calling Korea, because there's so much stuff about the country and whatnot. It would have to do so much rewriting to write that out.
Oh yeah. I mean, again, maybe when you finish the anime, you can let me know.
Yeah. Or it's gonna be like the Ace Attorney thing of was it the original was in Japan and then the American rewrite, they're like, yeah, you're eating hamburgers.
Yeah,
no, that's sushi.
Yeah. No, it's hamburgers. What do you mean? So I was like, when I was browsing the internet about Soul Leveling 2, there's apparently a lot of people that were pissed off that Jinwoo decided not to go fight in Jeju Island right away, but only to like suddenly show up after like the Korean hunters were getting like whooped, and then people were like, what the fuck, why did Jinwoo do that, like, and all the memes of like Aro farming and all that stuff were kind of like going around and stuff. But apparently there's some legitimate people that like did not enjoy that Jinwoo didn't right up like choose to fight, right? I don't know what your thoughts about that is.
I feel like the reason why he didn't go is legit. And like, I feel like he has faith in the existing hunters, the hunters that were going in.
Yeah.
Sort of like, I wish they were actually good enough to deal with anything. Like, I agree with Jinwoo on that. It's like, you guys got your job to do. Like, I can't just carry everyone. Yeah. And I got a family. Like, the main thing is that his mom just woke up.
Yes.
Like, from her slumber. Like, of course he's going to prioritize his family for that point.
Yeah,
like,
no, 100%.
Because, yeah. So, you guys do your shit, and I have my my shadows that's tailing you, so I know if shit's going down. But... yeah. Apparently, the shadows don't matter unless, people are in mortal danger. Because straight up, like, dudes are dying before he showed up. I'm like, kind of wish your shadow actually told you important stuff beforehand,
So, yeah, no, 100%. I mean, and this is what I feel like, and I don't know if this was portrayed in the anime, right? But in the manhwa, Jinwoo chooses to stay because, like you said, his mom just He just woke his mom up from maternal slumber.
Yep.
And he wants to take care of her. And also, I think at this point, Jinwoo isn't as strong as he is later on, right? I would say he's like, like above midpoint power at this point. He doesn't know how strong Jeju Island is or the ants are. What if he dies? And again, I don't know if this is like kind of like motivation for him to be like, yeah, you know what, I'll just watch from the sidelines. Or maybe he just legitimately was like, you know what, I 100% believe in the other hunters, right? Which is fair too, because like you were saying, like, can't carry your asses the whole time.
Well, it's just that there's nothing that indicated that the S ranks couldn't deal with it, right? It was only when they got there that they realized there was a being that's even stronger than S rank, because the S ranks went in and actually did what they needed to do.
Yeah.
And then Biru shows up and just fucks everything up.
Yeah.
But if that wasn't the case, and no one had intel of that, right? Like, if that wasn't the case, this would have been done. Like, they would have they would have completed the mission. So, I guess the thing is that, you're the strongest hunter. It's kind of your obligation that you should be there. But, like, it's going to be the Spider-Man thing of, like, with great power comes great responsibility. But, again, there's no indication that the other hunters couldn't handle it.
No, exactly. So. And honestly, like, when, obviously kind of wish not as many people died, but when he saw people were dying, he instantly changed with his shadow.
Yep.
Like, he showed up, right?
Yep.
And then he, went on to, destroy Biru.
There's this one thing with the shadows, because earlier on he had a cooldown time of 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
There's one arc in there, the one where the orcs appeared in the school.
Right.
Jinwoo agreed to this other party to go to their raid, right? And he was like, "Oh, whatever, I got time." And then he could have gone like way earlier. He could have gone like take a taxi, whatever. It's like, no, I'm just gonna aura farm. I'm just gonna show up with a shadow teleport thing, so it resets my cooldown. Like, I have to wait 3 hours. Whatever, don't care. Walks into the dungeon, and then his sister gets attacked. It's like, well, guess what, Jinwoo? You shouldn't have done that. You should have just gone there like a normal person, so you don't fuck yourself over like this.
No, he needs to ride Kaiser all the way over there.
Yeah, I'm like, you idiot. Like, I was watching that earlier. I'm like, why would this is so dumb? Your cooldown's 3 fucking hours. It should be for emergencies only. Like, why are you doing this?
He's like, I'm not gonna need this in 3 hours.
Oh my god. So pissed off.
That's so funny. So going to the jump into like the artwork and anime style of the artwork. One of my favorite manhwa panels in the in Solo Leveling is when Jinwoo and Biru finally face off, and Biru just takes this crazy punch shot at Jinwoo, and he just tanks it like nothing. Earthquake shattering, foot destroying the ground, rocks flying everywhere. Right? It was awesome. Jinwoo looks back up with the crazy like angle, looking down and whatever, and spits out the blood and punches back, whatever. Awesome. Right? Go to the anime. Like, what the fuck happened there? At least for me, I know we talked about it briefly, but at least for me, that scene looked like garbage. And compared to how it was like done in the manhwa, right? Like,
so there's multiple things going on. Like, I understand like budgeting wise, but there's also the problem with paneling, because the medium is different. The paneling would have to look different. So I give some of that pass, but I do agree there's some beats in there that's just not as clean. Jinwoo doesn't look badass. Jinwoo looks bored as fuck.
Yeah, Jinwoo's just like,
he's just like, I just took a punch.
Yeah, why am I here?
And the manhwa, he looks at him and be like, what the fuck did you do to my face?
Yeah,
and
right?
the anime is sort of like, okay, I just woke up. Like, I don't know. I don't think I have as much of a problem as you do with a lot of the animation stuff. I understand they have to cut back on a lot of the cool and stylish stuff. But yeah, it's not as not as badass, not as cool.
Yeah, and no, don't get me wrong. Like I get it. Right, I'm a pretty logical person. Money, animation, all that stuff. I know that costs a lot, and there's cutbacks and all that. But it's just that I don't know. It felt so hollow, right, compared to like
Mm-hmm.
how it was done in the manhwa. Even the fighting afterwards, like everything just looks so weird.
Yep.
And I know we talked about, was it the A1 studio, right?
Yep.
This one, yeah.
Yep.
And I'm not too familiar. I mean, I don't really look at what studios does what, but you were mentioning how like that's kind of on par with how they animate things.
I think on average they have like very mediocre stuff. They have good stuff here and there. I looked up some of their output, and one of their recent ones there is actually one of my favorites in the past few years. But yeah, they have a lot of very mediocre production.
Yeah,
So
which is kind
yeah,
of funny to me. Like I'm surprised they didn't try to go for. Again, you're gonna have to fill me in, like the studios that did like JJK or like Demon
yeah,
Slayer or
it's like
like.
Madhouse. Was it Madhouse?
Yeah,
I
I think
don't
it was
know.
Madhouse. Yes, I think Madhouse did one of them, right?
Yeah, Madhouse. I think did JJK and Chainsaw Man.
Mm-hmm.
If yeah, it's the same studio that did both. You also mentioned Ufotable that did Demon Slayer
Yeah,
and
Demon Slayer.
Face Day Night. Like those are, well, Madhouse I think got in trouble for overworking their people, but Ufotable is known for having the craziest fight animations. So one of the best in the industry.
Yeah, I kind of wish they used them to animate the soul leveling scenes, considering that soul leveling was like peaking at that point, right? Like everyone was waiting for the anime.
I just feel like they're not going to be able to get someone else to do it because I feel like A1 is locked in now. Unless A1 backs out of it, I don't think another studio
No,
is going to come in.
I don't think anyone's gonna like back out of that. Like I mean, I mean, I'm sure they're making a ton of money from this right
Yeah,
now, right?
like
So
they're making so much money that it does make sense for them to shake things up, I guess.
no, 100%.
You're not gonna get like again Face Day Night. You're not gonna get a season 1 to season 2 change where season 1 looked absolutely garbage and then season 2 looks amazing.
I
It's
know,
not gonna happen that way.
I know. I would love to see one of their studios just do a fight, just like
Yep.
as like almost like a fan work, and like I just want to
Mm-hmm.
see how that goes, right? Like it'd be pretty cool in my opinion.
I'm also thinking Studio Trigger. Oh,
No,
that'd be so good.
that'd be so good. But again, I mean, those are just wishful thinking from us
Yep.
here, right?
Not
So
happening. Not
no,
happening.
not happening. So just going off overall, what do you rate? What do you rate soul leveling?
Uh, I feel like at the time I would have rated it like 9. I
Mm-hmm.
think now that I've seen a lot of other ones, I might rate it like a 7. One thing I don't think we brought up was end of the manga and
No,
end of the
yeah,
manhwa. The end chunk was so garbage.
it was rushed,
Like there's
100%.
it's like they just said,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, dudes are gonna come. Jinwoo's gonna level up, and then he's gonna fight, and that's about it.
Yeah, and he's
Like
gonna
the
just
fight's not
murk.
fun. There's nothing interesting.
It's gonna fuck
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah. Like a few of the were they monarchs? I think they're monarchs, right?
They're
Yeah,
monarchs,
or
I
the
believe, yeah.
kings.
Yeah, or
They
something like
they
that.
just get killed off screen. I'm like the most powerful dudes. You're gonna get killed off screen with your shadow guys. What? Like including like there's one that gets killed by the shadow guys. Another one Jinwoo teleports to, and then by the time the screen goes to where he is, that guy's already dead. I'm like, what the hell's going on? You're just gonna write off these characters like they're nothing.
I think at that point they're like speculation here is like, oh, I'm so tired of drawing, man. Let's just kill them
Yeah,
off panel.
yeah. These huge action fights, I need to end it so that we can go back to like normal day-to-day stuff. Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. But yes, let's go back to the rating. What would you rate?
Uh Man, so kind of like you, like mine was very at the time, like probably like, yeah, I would say like 9 out of 10 for sure. although honestly, like just Solo Leveling in itself, I think I would leave that as my rating, even though like I have read better things after. I would say, I think overall, like I still enjoy it, and like it's very much part of what what I've read, and it's kind of stuck with me. I mean, who else can summon shadows and stuff at this point? Mind you, like going off of that rating, people do tell me Solo Leveling Ragnarok is much better. That's
Really?
yeah, that's something else we can kind of talk about later. But I haven't read it yet. I don't know if you have.
No, 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 no. I want to read all the epilogue stuff first.
Oh, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm like 2 or 3 chapters in the epilogue. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But yeah, overall, I think I would leave my rating like 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
super, super good.
So going forward with the series, what we're looking at is we're gonna look at other series that maybe I've not read, but at least Dickson's gonna have some knowledge of. Okay, so what we're looking at is we're gonna randomize it, and if it's one that I've not read, Dickson's gonna show me some pictures, and
And the title,
and yes, and then I'm supposed to guess what it's gonna be, and then next time we come back, I'm gonna have read some of it, and then we can talk about it. How's that sound?
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like just tacking on to onto that, like I feel like we read a little bit of similar stuff here and there, but I feel like I do read a bit more. I want to say, right?
Yep. I think you read like maybe more than 50%.
Yeah, I read a lot of garbage. All right, so let me go and randomize a new manga or manhwa for the next part. So I have randomized The Death Mage. I don't know if you heard of that before.
Okay. Nope.
So
This looks like Chinese words. Okay, it's a Chinese.
let me zoom
manhwa.
this in a little bit for you.
Okay. Oh no, the art. Oh, this looks kind of etchy.
Okay, so brutally honest,
this is gonna be.
I don't remember this. I'm gonna have to do a quick refresher for myself.
Great.
But yeah.
So I'm looking at this. This is going to be. Oh, I don't want to look at the synopsis here. You can zoom out so I can't see shit at all. Okay, I'm gonna assume it's this is a sort of a death god. Was it Death Mage? Okay,
The Death Mage. Yeah.
This guy reincarnation summons corpses, necromancer, and they go on adventures together.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So just throwing it out there. This was The Death Mage, released in June 24th, 2018. I don't remember much. I'm gonna have to double check.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, then I'm gonna go read this, and then we'll talk about it when I'm done.
Yeah, for sure. We'll be back.
All right.